Hello everyone and welcome back. So in this video we'll learn about how to write a C program for finding the average of n numbers entered by the user. Basic requirement prerequisite for this that you need to know a basic C syntax and you need to understand you need to know what is for. So let's dig into the programming, and the first thing that we're going to do, so let's divide this program into what is the logic behind it. The first thing that we will ask the user that how many numbers he wants to for how many numbers he wants to find the average. When the user will give us that number, then we will ask the user to enter those numbers one by one. Let's say if the user wants to find the average for five numbers, then first we will ask them, okay, how many numbers you want to have. The user will enter five. After that, we'll ask the user that, okay, give us those numbers. So the user will enter those numbers one by one, and then we will find the sum of those numbers, and then we are gonna divide that by the number of elements. So in, like how many numbers were there, so sum divided by total numbers, and then we will have an average, and then we will print it out on the screen. One thing I would like to mention here, that in the previous videos, one of the video I mentioned, we found the sum by using an array logic, but here I will use a different logic, and it also works. So you can also use the arrays logic for finding the sum of the numbers, but I will use a different one, and it's more easy, I guess. It makes the program more compact. So let's start this program. So first we will ask the user how many numbers he wants to have, for how many numbers he wants to find the average. For that, say we will take one variable n, which will represent the number of elements that the user wants to have. We will ask the user enter the number of elements that, sorry, that's the caps lock. So enter the number of elements that you want to have, right? And we will store the, when the user will enter some value, we will store it the address of n variable, right? Perfect. Now we're gonna ask the user to give us inputs like values one by one. For that we will use one for loop. For loop I is equal to 0. I sorry, we'll start it from 1 actually. 1. You can start it from 0 also, but then you have to, for checking the condition, you will just say I less than, but if you start from 1, then you have to write I less than equal to n, I plus plus, and we will ask the user printf to enter the number one by one. So printf enter the percentage d number I, right? And what we're gonna do, we are gonna store it. Okay, so we are gonna store it in one variable, and that variable, let's define it here, num. We will define it as num. So we're going to store that value, whatever the user will enter, into this variable scanf percentage d and at the address of num, right? And what we're going to do, we have to find the sum of all those numbers. So while this loop will run, we need to sum whatever value we reach, the user enters into some variable sum. So we'll define one variable here called sum and initialize it to 0. And then what we're gonna do, we are gonna do here sum is equal to sum plus num. So main logic is lies in this for loop. So first I is equal to 1. let's say if the user wants to have five numbers for wants to find the average of five numbers, so n is 5, remember this thing. Based on that, I is equals to 1, I is less than equal to 5, yes, condition is true. Enter the body of the loop, printf, enter the first number because I is 1, so enter the first number, scanf percentage d, so store that number whatever is entered by the user into the address of num. I'll show you here. So this is, sorry, let's say this is my num, right? I is 1, I is 1 now, right? I is equals to 1, so first the uh, user enters two value, let's say this is 2, 2, right? Sum was initially 0, so we have to add this number to this, so it is now 2, right? And then I is incremented to 2, I is incremented to 2, right? I is less than s n, yes, it is true. Again enter the second number, and then whatever is entered by the user, we will update this and num value to that. Like let's say the second number is entered by the user is 5, so num is now 5. Add this 5 to this 2, so 5 plus 2 is 7, sum is now 7. Now the third number entered by the, now I is incremented to 3, so the third number entered by the user, let's say it's 6, so it is num value is updated to 6. 7, this 6 will be added to 7, it's now the sum is 13. I is incremented to now 4, and the fourth number entered uh, by the user, it's, let's say, 1, so 1 will be added to 13, so it is now 14. Again I is incremented and it is now 5, 5 is less than equal to 5, condition is true. 5 is added to 14, so it is 19. I is incremented to 6 now. I'll write it here, 6. 6 is 6, 6. Now 6 is, if we check the condition, 6 is not less than equal to n, so the condition is false, so we'll come out of this loop. Now we have some, we need to find the average. For average can be in the, average can be in decimal format also, so we will define the data type for it is double, so double average, right? Okay, there's one small thing for finding the average, you know the formula, it's so simple. Average is equal to sum divided by n. But remember this one thing, this will not give you the correct answer, because dividing an integer by integer will give you an integer value in C programming. So you need to typecast one of them. What is typecasting? Typecasting is just converting a variable into another data type. Like let's say converting an integer into double, or float into integer or something like that. Anything. So in order to do that, what is the way to do it? So you just write, you open a bracket, double, and that's it. So you typecasted any one of them, now it will give us the correct answer. So we'll just print this on the screen. The average is percentage f, for double we use percentage f, and what is that, we say right. Let's see if this program works. Oh yes, we haven't defined the data type for I. I'll define it here. No, it's fine. It should work now. Enter the number of elements that you want to have. Let's say I want to have 5 elements. Enter the first number 12, second number 10, third number 33, fourth number 41, fifth number 70. So the answer is 22.6. Let's run it again for just simpler one. Simple 5 elements again, simple numbers. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2. 1.2 is the answer as expected. So this was the program to find the average of n numbers entered by the user. I hope you understand it. And if you have any questions regarding this program, please let me know in the comments and I will answer those questions. So we will in the next videos we will learn more basic, some basic C programs, and in future videos we will move on to more advanced and topics where we will learn more. We will program more C programming. Sorry, we will do C programming actually of more advanced topics like pointers, linked lists, binary trees, some data structure. So stay tuned for that. See you in the next video. Thank you.